Welcome. I'm representing HighMind AI. Today, I'll show you how the space station is powering the next generation of AI. We're in our pre-seed round, seeking 1.5 million to make it happen. Let's dive in. Imagine building an AI app from scratch, running it instantly and sharing it seamlessly, all from one polished desktop hub. That's SpaceStation. It's not just a launcher, it's a complete AI studio. You can design models visually, run reproducible demos, and share them with your team or the world. Here's the problem. Running and sharing AI demos today is fragile and frustrating. Right now, running a project means juggling environments, checking GPU's ports logs all manually. Packaging these demos is brittle, so anyone who isn't technical struggles to run them. And teams, they often have no way to manage versions, access control, or reproducible artifacts. All this friction adds cost and slows progress. What should be a smooth handoff from prototype to a reliable shareable demo becomes a headache. To understand the scale we're dealing with, let's look at Hugging Face's ecosystem. Back in 2019, there were about 10,000 models, 8,000 datasets, and basically no spaces. Fast forward to 2023, and we have 150,000 models, 120,000 datasets, and 60,000 spaces. All user-contributed, all growing fast. By 2025, projections show over 300,000 models, 250,000 datasets, and 250,000 spaces. That's an explosion of AI tools and demos. Our vision is simple. Democratize AI. We want every developer, educator, and product team to go from idea to a fully validated distributable demo with just one click. With SpaceStation, you can design your model visually, validate it safely, and share it without friction. No complex setups, no version headaches, just a smooth, auditable workflow. Let's talk about adoption. Gradio, one of the leading AI demo tools, now reaches over 1 million active developers every month, and that's just in April 2025. What does this tell us? AI demos are no longer a niche experiment. They're mainstream. Developers, educators, and teams are building, sharing, and testing demos constantly, but here's the challenge: with so many creators, running and packaging demos reliably becomes critical. That's exactly where SpaceStation comes, in providing a single smooth hub to design, run, validate, and share demos at scale. Notice the trend over the past few years: exponential growth. Now that we understand the opportunity, let's meet the SpaceStation family, the tools that make it all possible. At the center is Model Builder. Think of it as the heart of the system. You can design models, visually validate them safely, merge updates, and produce reproducible builds. Next, we have Space Runner and Launcher. This is where your demos actually come to life. It automatically detects your project environments, tracks logs live, and supervises processes, so running a demo isn't a guessing game. Finally, Export and Store makes sharing effortless. One click packages your project as an executable or Docker image, hosts it, and makes it discoverable with templates ready to go. Here's an important trend in machine learning research: reproducibility. Over the past several years, the percentage of papers that actually release runnable code has been steadily increasing. In fact, it doubled from 2016 to 2021 at major conferences like NeurIPS, ICRA, and CDC. But here's the catch. A substantial number of papers still don't provide code that you can run. That means even though the results are published, other developers or teams can't immediately reproduce them, test them, or build on them. This gap highlights a real pain point. Ideas alone aren't enough. They need to be packaged, validated, and shareable. So how do we solve the problems we've just seen? With Space Station, we bring everything together in one seamless flow from discovery to running your model, validating it, packaging it, and finally distributing it all desktop native and fully compatible with continuous integration. Let me break it down simply. First, you can discover and explore models or datasets quickly with live previews that actually work. Then you run them in a space window, our resilient runtime that handles all the environment setup automatically. Next comes validation. You can check your models safely and reproducibly so you know they behave as expected. After that, you package your demo as a standalone executable. Now let's talk about who benefits most from SpaceStation. Next and first, AI-oriented developers and Mac engineers, the people building demos on platforms like Gradio or Hugging Face Spaces. They need tools that just work every time without wrestling with environments or dependencies. Next, educators and researchers, anyone teaching AI or running experiments. They need reproducible, auditable environments so students or collaborators can follow along and learn without friction. Then product managers and CTOs, those evaluating demos, they care about reliable capabilities. And finally, investors and platform leads. Now let's look at how organizations are running software today. According to the CNCF annual survey, the majority of companies are now running containers in production across development, testing, and live environments. In fact, container adoption has surged in just the last year. Why does this matter for SpaceStation? Because our export targets, Docker Compose, even executable packages are built for this exact reality. You want reproducible demos, and containers are the industry standard to make that happen. Think about it, when a team deploys a demo on a container, they know it will run exactly the same way on any machine in any environment. Now let's talk about something every engineering team knows too well failed: CI builds. Studies show that teams lose roughly 120 hours per project per year due to failed builds, reruns, flaky tests, environment mismatches, and dependency errors. That's more than 2 work weeks lost per project just chasing failures that could have been avoided. Imagine the productivity you could reclaim if builds were reliable and reproducible from the start. This is exactly where SpaceStation's headless CI exports and reproducible artifacts come in. Before we show how we solved the problem, let's take a quick look at the world most developers still live in. Here's a typical AI demo workflow today. You clone repos manually and cross your fingers that dependencies just work. Then you install packages, debug environment conflicts, and hope nothing breaks. Next, you spin up Jupyter Gradio or Streamlit Wrestling with quirks and unexpected errors. To share your work, you resort to zip files, Dockerfile hacks, or notebook exports. And finally, you spend endless hours fixing breakages across different OS's CI pipelines and collaborator setups. Every single step here is a mini pain point: time loss, frustration, and unpredictability. Both users and developers alike know this pain. Replace fragile manual workflows with reproducible, CI-friendly demo pipelines. Let's zoom in on one of the hidden costs of traditional AI demo workflows: time lost searching for solutions. According to the 2024 Stack Overflow survey, 61% of professional developers spend more than 30 minutes every day hunting for answers, debugging, or context switching. Think about that for a second. That's hours every week that could have gone straight into building models, creating demos, or innovating. And for teams collaborating across environments, this friction multiplies every OS difference. Every dependency mismatch adds to the drain. SpaceStation tackles this head on. Now let's take a closer look at the model builder, the engine behind reproducible, auditable AI creation. At a glance, the model builder breaks complex model operations into 3 clear lanes: design, train, and merge. Design is fully visual. Drag, drop, connect, input and output are auto-managed so teams avoid mistakes and version conflicts. Training happens in a sandboxed environment, ensuring safety and reproducibility. Any experiment or tweak stays isolated until validated, no accidental overwrites or corrupted MOE bundles managed, and artifacts signed with safe and source verification. This guarantees the build you export is exactly what was tested. Think of the design model window like a visual workbench for building. You drag and drop building blocks from the palette. That's where you pick components. The system auto-wires inputs and outputs for you so you don't worry about linking the wrong pieces. In the preview area, you see a tiny live result. Instantly, it shows whether the design behaves as you expect. When you're happy, hit Export to create a reproducible snapshot and the matching code or architecture file. So pick a block, connect automatically, preview instantly, export reliably. That's visual prototyping that maps cleanly to code. Now let's look at the train model window. This is where your model actually learns safely and reproducibly. All code runs in a sandbox sub-process. Think of it like a safe, isolated playground. Anything goes wrong inside won't break the rest of the system. The trainer thread works in the background, quietly managing training, so you can watch live metrics and logs in real time. You see loss curves accuracy, everything updating instantly. Files are copied into a local sandbox for safe handling. This ensures artifacts are reproducible and easy to share. And if a GPU isn't available, detection automatically switches to the best fallback, so training just works. Now let's dive into the Merge Model window. This is where multiple model checkpoints come together safely and reproducibly. Imagine you have several experiments or model versions. Instead of manually juggling files and scripts, the Merge Model window merges them automatically while preserving all metadata. Nothing gets lost, nothing breaks. Next, we can create mixture of experts, bundles combining models into one smart ensemble, ready for testing or production. Finally, you can export a fully runnable bundle architecture weights and a lock file, all signed and verifiable. Let's look at how AI is being adopted in education. According to the 2024 Digital Education Council survey, 86% of students are already using AI in their studies, and more than half use it every week. That's not a small experiment. That's the majority of learners actively engaging with AI tools. On the educator side, adoption is lower but growing, meaning teachers are starting to integrate AI into lessons, assignments, and research workflows. What this tells us is clear: students expect AI-ready environments, and schools need safe, reliable tools that teachers can trust. Now let's talk about running. Hugging face spaces locally and how tedious that can normally be. Typically, developers have to clone repos, manage virtual environments, tweak dependencies, and hope nothing breaks. It's time-consuming and fragile. With Space Runner and Launcher, we turn all that into a single smooth experience. It auto-detects the type of space radio, blocks, whatever, and sets up an isolated environment automatically. You get live logs with timestamps and status indicators so you can see exactly what's happening. It even handles process supervision. If something fails, you can restart, rollback, or kill a process safely. Once you've built and tested a space, the next challenge is sharing it, especially with non-Python users or in continuous integration systems. With our export and distribution tools, you can package, sign, and ship your demos in a single click. Want a Windows executable? Done. Docker container for CI? Done. All builds are time-stamped and code signed so your users or your automated systems know it's verified and safe. Even shortcuts and artifacts are automatically handled. Finding the right demo or space used to be a guessing game, but our Explorer and Store makes discovery fast and visual. Here's how it works. Every space is shown in a grid with live previews, so you can see exactly what it does before opening it. Offline thumbnails keep your most used spaces accessible even without internet. Click a tile and the space page pops out with metadata, license info, and token badges, everything you need to know before you start. Managing AI projects isn't just about building models, it's about team, security, and traceability. That's where our team and governance tools come in. Every project is stored in repo-friendly YAML or JSON files, making it easy to track, share, and commit changes. Organization profiles let you set up roles and permissions with RBAC, so each team member sees only what they need. Scope secrets keep sensitive info safe, and audit logs capture every action for compliance or review. The admin panel gives you control over pilots and private templates, all in one place, visual and intuitive. Once you've built a model, the next question is, how do you make it actually work in your products or pipelines? That's where integrations and automation come in. We provide connectors for webhooks, REST outputs, and hosted endpoints, so your model's results flow directly to your app, no messy glue code required. You can automatically trigger builds, runs, or exports. Hi Mind. AI is American AI. As a US-based venture, HighMind powers global innovation while promoting American values of transparency, freedom, and ingenuity. This strengthens international partnerships and positions the United States as the enduring leader and central hub for AI technology worldwide. Now let's take a look at the current landscape of private AI investment. In 2024, the U.S. led the world with $109 billion in private AI funding compared to $9 billion in China. That's a huge gap, highlighting the scale of American innovation and opportunity. And if we focus on generative AI, which powers cutting-edge creators and products, it alone attracted $33.9 billion. That tells us where the energy and momentum are right now in tools that can actually create, generate, and innovate. This is why a platform like the SpaceStation, hard-coded with American ingenuity, is perfectly positioned. Let's zoom in on corporate investment in AI infrastructure. For 2025, major tech firms in the U.S. plan to spend between $325 and $405 billion on AI infrastructure. That's not just a number. It represents a massive commitment to building the digital backbone for AI innovation. Even more striking, AI-related capital expenditures contributed to about one-third of second quarter USD GDP. That shows the real economic impact these investments are having. It's not just hype, it's driving the economy. For companies like ours, this is a huge signal. Now let's look at the market opportunity for container services, or CaaS, containers as a service. In 2024, the global CaaS market is about $5.57 billion. But by 2033, it's projected to reach nearly $38.64 billion. That's a compound annual growth rate of roughly 25%, incredibly fast growth. Why does this matter? If you're building tools for packaging, deployment, or enterprise container services, this is your targetable market. It's not just a small niche, this is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity expanding rapidly. Here's how we monetize SpaceStation using a tiered model that grows with the user. First, the free tier, perfect for explorers and single users. You can run projects locally, experiment, and get familiar with the platform at zero cost. Next, Pro. This is where most users convert. With Pro, you get packaged exports, parallel runs, branding, and signing. These features are designed to save time, increase reliability, and make your workflows professional. Notice this card is highlighted. It's the sweet spot for most customers. Finally, Enterprise, for teams and organizations that need org management, private templates, role-based access controls, and service-level agreements. Now let's look at the big opportunity landscape, projected to reach $3.8 billion by 2028. This growth is driven by urgent needs in climate modeling, supply chain optimization, and financial forecasting. Companies are willing to pay for accurate, actionable predictions. Next, anomaly detection, expected to hit $5.2 billion by 2027, especially in cybersecurity, industrial, and fraud detection. Every organization needs smarter ways to detect problems before they become crises. Then explainable. AI rapidly being adopted in healthcare, insurance, and government. Stakeholders demand models they can understand and trust, not just black boxes. Finally, creator platforms, think Patreon or Gumroad. Let's zoom out and look at the big picture of AI growth worldwide. In 2025, the global AI market is projected at $638 billion. That's already huge, but look at the trajectory by 2034. It's expected to soar to $3.68 trillion, growing at an impressive 19.2% CAGR. Put simply, the AI market is expanding faster than almost any other tech sector. Every industry from healthcare to finance, logistics to entertainment is investing heavily in AI solutions. Why does this matter to us? It means there's massive market potential for tools that can integrate, automate, and optimize AI for platform tools. Now let's zoom in on the US AI market specifically. In 2024, the US AI market is already strong at $146 billion. But by 2034, it's projected to reach $851 billion, growing at 19.3% annually. Pause for a moment, that's nearly 6 times the size in just 10 years. Why is this important? Because it shows that America is leading the global AI wave. For HighMind AI, being US-based positions us perfectly to ride this growth, innovate, and become a hub for American-led AI solutions. Now let's talk about traction and what's coming next. First, our progress so far. The prototype is complete, and we're gearing up for a closed beta in the next 3 to 6 months. After that, we'll launch public version 1.0 and education pilots in the 6 to 12-month window. On the right, you can see our key metrics. These are what we actually measure to ensure success. Ensure progress metrics and a clear path forward. That's how we turn potential ensure success. We're raising $1.5 million to ship SpaceStation public, 1.0 scale discovery, and run education pilots. Here's how we'll use it: 40% product engineering to finish core features, 30% go-to-market to grow users, 20% infrastructure and QA to keep things reliable, and 10% ops and legal to move fast and stay compliant. Milestones: public 1.0 in 6 months, 500 pro seats within 12 months, and 2 enterprise pilots signed. First equity: you'll own 16 to 20% of the company, getting in at the ground floor with a post-money valuation of $8 to $10 million. Second milestones: your capital helps us ship public 1.0, reach 500 pro seats, sign 2 enterprise pilots, and release early educator templates. These are measurable public-facing signs of traction. Third, momentum towards Series A. Your investment establishes early revenue signals, grows a beta community of 1,000 plus active developers, and enables strategic leverage. Now let's talk about the team. I built the prototype, designed the interface, and handled the full workflow from idea to demo. No formal degrees, no corporate background, just hands-on results. And the SpaceStation demo speaks for itself. It works, it's intuitive, and early users can immediately see the value. But a solo founder can only go so far. With funding, here's the plan: we'll bring on 3 key hires. A senior sales or enterprise lead to drive growth, a security engineer to make the platform enterprise ready, and a platform engineer to further expand and stabilize the product. Let's close in on the big picture. SpaceStation transforms every screen into a native, shareable AI workspace. Imagine creating, experimenting, and sharing your AI work all without friction, all in one place. That's how unforgettable demos are born. We're raising $1.5 million to ship version 1.0 and run education pilots, and we want you to be part of it. Come see it in action. The stack of gold bricks you see here, that's more than a visual. It's a symbol your investment builds, the foundation for real transformation. Thank you for spending this time with me and exploring what we're building with HighMind AI. If you're excited to see it in action, get involved, or follow our progress, here's how you can reach out. You can email me directly at HighMindAI at proton.me. Follow us on X at x.com/HighMindAI, or check out the test results on GitHub at github.com/HighMindAI. We also welcome support and contributions through Open Collective. We funder or ko-fi. Every bit helps us grow, run education pilots, and bring the first public release to life.